I say, who that? R.I.P. Tom Benson. Shout out to the whole Who That Nation. Now who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. Oh, who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. I got that fever, my people. See, we not equal, my people. I'm like that dog saint underneath the steeple, my people. Got Drew Brees, he the feature, and our defense the sequel. The D-line and linebackers, man, they coming to reach ya. Make enemies some believers, cause we overachievers. DBs see 50-50 balls and we call them keepers. Y'all can follow this leader, cause Sean Payton will teach ya.
Saints Talk listeners, what's up? We're back for another week of Saints Talk, official podcast of NewOrleans.Football. As always, I'm your host, Kevin Washington. I'm here with Nick Underhill, man behind the site. Nick, what's up? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going, man? Doing well over here.
Good. You got anything to tell us? You know, anything you want to start us off with? Any big news?
Big news. What big news we got? Well, first of all, shout out to our guy Daniel Stant, CPA.
Thank you. I was wondering if I didn't know if you and Daniel got into it.
No. Actually, Daniel's supporting the show. He came on, long time advertiser, so that's good. But yeah, look, Daniel Stant, CPA, supporter of the show, makes this happen. If you're a business owner, you like what we're doing, get with Daniel. Support those who support us. Are you a business owner needing some guidance with your daily accounting? Daniel Stant, CPA, can help get your finances in order. They provide relevant accounting information, detailed analysis, and clear communication in a timely manner. And I had the question for Daniel today, and he called me within a minute. So, I mean, that last part of the thing is true. Call him today, 318-321-2765, santcpa.com. Links in the show notes. Hit him up. He'll save you money on your taxes.
So he didn't hit you up and be like, yo, Nick, I'm going to need you to tell him we spoke. He didn't put that in the ad reel. That's just natural.
No, we just got, it's just real. Like, he's
you really had a question in real life.
Yeah, he's my CPA. Yeah, no, I had a series of questions, and he called me like immediately and answered them all. So,
like a boss. Do you think he is advising the Saints on how to free up some free agent, some caps?
No, but Kai Harley CPA is going to be the greatest CPA firm of all time. They will have to have an extensive amount of people to help with audits. But you'll win your audits, you'll be inconvenienced, but you will save massive amounts of money on your taxes.
Yeah, there we go. If the Saints, you guys are listening, get your hookup, man. Get that accountant right, because you never know what may happen. All right, guys. So the Saints are back from a bye week. It's the most peaceful weekend in football, but at the same time, like I know, like around, I guess, noon Sunday morning, I'm like, oh man, it's like that gap in my life. I actually took my wife out to Sunday brunch. It felt weird. Like I always tell my friends, I'm like, if the sky was, some weird color on Sunday and they gave away free money, I would never know, because I'm at home watching football. So that's the life, and that's how it is. But we're back. Saints play this week, and we're going to talk a little bit about the game, what to expect from the team coming after the bye, and some of the guys who may be returning. So I think that's a good place to start. I know that, Nick, you tweeted out a few things about Mike Thomas. I'm not going to regurgitate them. I'm just going to let you give us an update on, last you heard from him, and, when you think he may be returning.
So first, before that, also got to shout out Firehouse Subs, the location on Veterans Boulevard. They're supporter of the show as well. So shout out to them for taking care of us. They got good food, so go up there and eat it. And also, they did a cool thing. They bought 100 monthly subscriptions for NOF to give out. We've given out some of them on Twitter. There's a code on the screen now. Use the code Firehouse. Next 30 people to get it. They get a free month on the site. So sign up with that on the monthly plan. You got the hookup, courtesy of Firehouse Subs. Just go buy a sub after you cash it in, and you get a lunch and you get something to read with it. So go do that.
I do want to say though, real quick, if you listening right now, and you can use that code. Like, don't let that be, should have been did it, but just
Yeah, not do it.
it's okay.
Doesn't
We
matter.
forgive
Once
you.
you're in, you're in.
Well, yeah, get in, smell the greatness, and then we'll
And then
lock you
stick
in.
around.
But
And then stick
yeah,
around.
stick around. Yeah, give us a chance for life.
for real. For
For
real.
life, for real.
For
Yeah, I
real.
mean, I meant that.
Yeah,
But go ahead, Mike
we
Thomas.
really need that too, though. Yeah, but Mike Thomas, yeah, I think it's going to take a few weeks. And look, I got to say, maybe not the takes, but the thought process behind it was a little bit foolish on my part, even. Just at first, kind of looking at that date, and you're like, okay, well, it's this many weeks removed from the surgery, so he should be good to go. But then, I started talking to people, and it's just kind of like, well, Mike hasn't practiced since January, man. And it's like, oh,
Mm,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
That's right.
that's a good point. He hasn't practiced since January, so I think when he gets back, he's got to get his legs underneath him. My understanding is it's not a setback or anything. It's just kind of he's got to feel right, which is it's something I understand. So hopefully he feels right soon for the Saints because they really really need him on the field. But yeah, it's going to take a little while probably, unless he gets out there and it's magic, right away practicing. But I think that's probably a little bit unreasonable, and it wouldn't be shocking for a handful of these guys that are coming back from IR that maybe a couple of them are ready to go. Maybe a couple of them need a couple of weeks, but I think it's take a little bit of time for a lot of them. Anyamata comes back next week. He should probably be good to go. He's not fighting an injury. He should have been doing everything he needs to do to be ready to play. So I don't think he's going to take a lot of time to get back. But a guy like Marcus Davenport who came back today, it might take a little time. Maybe it doesn't. Quan, same thing. Who's the third one? There's a third one.
Traquan is returning.
Traquan's
Will
the
Lutz
other
is
one.
returning.
Yeah, and Will Lutz. So those are the guys so far. Still haven't heard about Van Ett. Still haven't, Mike didn't return to practice yet. So those ones might take a little bit longer. Maybe they don't. But yeah, once they get out there, I think it's going to be determined by how well they practice. But it's not the magic wand that, I think a lot of people were hoping for. You get to buy, everybody's magically better. Unfortunately, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. And I get that there's probably a little bit of general frustration with the Mike situation. It just feels like it's ongoing for so long. But when he comes back, you want him to be right. You don't want this to pop up again. And if it takes a game or two to make sure he's good at the end of December, so be it. I mean, it's just a little more time. They've survived this long, and they might just have to survive a little bit longer.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, I think it's and I'm not sure where the narrative came from. Probably is in my head, right? But because so for some reason I was looking at this buy, it's like they're going to come out of this buy, and these guys are going to be, maybe not all of them, but a handful of guys. Like, I didn't expect Tehran to return at this point. Obviously, Onyemata is someone who, he's going to return after his suspension is up. But yeah, when you look at Mike, you look at Traquan, I was thinking of McCoy, Davenport, Will Lutz, and Quan. Those are some guys that, I'll admit that, I was like, man, if you can just survive until the bye week and you come out the bye and you have Seattle, then you get some horses back in the race. And so yeah, I think it's a little bit of a letdown, just from wanting to see this team at full strength, right? It's like, just a 17-week season and 18 weeks, 17 games. But yeah, it's just, I think it's a little disappointing. But at the end of the day, if those guys are not ready, then obviously you don't put them out there. But I think it is a little bit of a letdown, maybe for the fan base and maybe from some players, because I think I even remember some players saying like, yeah, after the bye we starting to get some of our guys back. So
I think they will start to get some back. I mean, there's probably a chance some of them come back. It just might be a little bit of a little period of time where they all start showing up. But this is kind of the benchmark where you get on the other side of it and it's like, okay, like now you see the horizon, you see some people coming, and a few of them are going to run. A few of them are going to run a little bit ahead of the pack, and a few might be behind. But at some point, all these guys are going to be healthy, and they're gonna help. I mean, you need all the help you can get. The good thing is Ganyamata kind of cures pretty much everything on defense that's ailing them to a certain extent.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a pass rush. They need the interior rush. They don't have any interior rush. It's been a while since I even feel like I've seen a play made by somebody on the interior. I think he fixes a lot of that. I mean, he's a significant impact player.
Yep.
I think
They're not good
Davenport's
there
a
at
signi-
all.
I think Davenport's a significant impact player. I think Mike Thomas
Yes.
is. I think the nature of how this team is put together and where it's struggling, there's
Lutz.
more excitement. There's more excitement for Traquan Smith here than I think there would be 31 other cities in the NFL just because of how bad the receiver group is. So
Yeah,
I mean that
man.
I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to help, but I think he's the impact of him is going to be felt more here than it would for any other team, and that's just kind of a commentary on how they're built more than anything. But he's going to help a lot. I mean, you go from you know 2 cast-offs, 2 undrafted players,
Undrafted
converted running
players.
back,
One dude
and
don't
you
know if
got
he was a wide receiver or running back.
yeah.
You
So
got
you and look, he's played good. Like that's nothing against like Tom Montgomery's played well in moments, and I think that he's been important even, but he
good gunner.
shouldn't be in a role where there's importance that is much importance placed on him, all of them, and I think that helps getting him back. So it's gonna
Yeah.
be it's gonna be a nice little injection of talent at that position. I think they still need more. I think even when Mike comes back, I still think they need more. I think they need to find a way to trade for somebody. Honestly, I mean, it's something that I feel
Yeah,
like.
yeah, that's something that we definitely gonna get to. Just high level though, because I had someone always talking to me like, "Oh, what do you know?" I'm like, "Man, trust me, I don't know anything." Like, don't ask me, that, because I don't want to like speculate about it. It's making it seem like I know something, but yeah, I mean, so I did see you report that Traquan Lutz and Davenport and Quan was off. So that means that, just for clarity, those guys can start reporting now, right?
Well, they're
And then since
practicing. There's a 21-day window for to get activated. They got to be activated to the 53 within 21 days, or they're lost for the season. So
okay,
it starts the clock. They can practice, and then at the end of the 21-day period, they either have to be already on the 53 or they're gone for the year.
okay, and then Mike
But they
hasn't
could
been
play
designated.
Monday. You know what I mean? They're good to play on starting Monday.
Okay, yeah, and just kind of like give everybody like the rundown of the altered Monday night football schedule versus like a Sunday schedule, because I know like practice reports are usually Wednesday. Does that date get moved? Like, what does all that look like on a Monday night football week?
Thursday is Wednesday.
That's
Friday is
simple.
Thursday. Saturday is Friday. Monday is Sunday.
There you go.
It's
There you
just
go.
that's it. It's just move one day back.
Just shift for the
That's
day.
such a Belichick thing, man. He'd spend 15 minutes just like explaining like day. It's just like, dude, it's just a day off. Like it isn't that
Just
hard to
move it.
understand.
Just
It isn't
move
that
it.
hard to understand. So
Hey
today is
man,
the Thursday schedule.
we here to clear, to make it clear. So yeah, and so they don't practice Wednesday then. Well, because they can start practicing,
Yeah, I mean they
as
can have
soon as they
bonus
off.
days and all that. Yeah, I mean and they
Yeah,
probably have had a bonus practice at some point. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean the real normal got to report everything schedule starts on Thursday. So
Okay,
Thursday is
okay,
Wednesday. Yeah.
okay. Got it. Uh, question. I saw a good question in chat, and I think Eddie asked it, but it was like, does Quan even get his job back? Like, what do you think like happens with that situation? I know we've like spoken a little bit about it before, but now he's designated to return, so he potentially plays. Like, what happens there?
Um, it's a good question. I mean, I think that's going to be fascinating to see what they do with it because I think that there's things about Quan that they like just beyond football plays, just his energy, what he brings to the field, how people feed off him,
Yeah.
and I think all that stuff is are things that they really like, and I think having him on the field lifts everybody else up just a little bit. It's one of those like intangible things that aren't going to show up in analytics or even necessarily on film, but it's a real thing that people feel. So I think having him around is just something that they like. So I could see him having a spot on the field. But I mean, if the rookie's outplaying him, the rookie's outplaying him, and I think you got to keep an eye on that too. And as we always say, that's the best case scenario for a veteran to lose their job to a rookie. You want him to have that bar to compete against, but when push comes to shove, you want the
Right.
rookie to win the job. I think personally they'll find a way to get both of them on the field in some capacity. I don't think Quan's going to be all the way out. I don't think Werner should be all the way out if he keeps playing well. I think you found a way to get them to coexist and put them in some different packages. I think I said on one of the other podcasts, like on longer distance plays. Maybe you see Quan on shorter distance plays. Maybe you see Werner, and you put him in those situations, because I think Werner's a much better run defender already. And I think that's kind of one of the weaknesses of Quan's games is run defense and just general gap discipline.
Gap integrity.
Sometimes you see him out of position, it opens him up to things. And I think there's been a couple plays where Werner's gotten caught out of position too. He hasn't been perfect, but he's definitely more consistent at that. So I think that there's some combination of those two guys that you can get on the field and play them both and get something out of both of them. And it's a good problem to have. And, frankly, this is kind of the situation where, I was kind of beating the drum about not necessarily needing a linebacker. And, that's why if one of these younger guys came to fruition, you were going to have this situation. But having depth at that spot and options is obviously this is a great problem to have to
good
solve.
problem to have. Exactly. Yeah.
How do we play these?
How
Do we play these two good players? Oh, like, so sad. You got to figure that out. Like, it's a good thing for them to figure out.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. Yeah. I definitely think that, you have to figure out a way to use Quan first and foremost, because, I think talent, and there's a talent, he has a particular set of skills like taking, and you want to kind of use those to the best of his abilities. But, I think the last thing you want to do is pull a promising rookie, off the field. So, listen, man, he's been I didn't think Pete would be this good. You was telling me all off season. He was like, "Hey, man, trust me, he's gonna be good." I'm like, I trust you, but so yeah, he's been good, and hopefully.
Yeah, but I was super wrong about the wide receivers, so it evens out.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I didn't know Mike was hurt. So
yeah.
At the draft, I didn't know Mike was hurt.
Yeah. I guess, did they know? No, they didn't know, because
they
found out when he came back from like summer.
Yeah, but they knew they knew they didn't know they knew they didn't have the information. Yeah, they knew they didn't hear about the surgery.
That's true. Like, but they could have thought like, okay, well, he's healing, because the alternative was, okay, conservative approach is working. But
I guess they knew there was a blackout there. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I just never trusted that group, man. I don't know what it was. Just, I don't know.
No, they definitely could have used one more, but it was just a weird situation for the whole team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wavered a little bit when Callaway was looking like Randy Moss in the preseason. I was like, oh, well, my bad, Saints.
Yeah.
Forget the old podcaster here, and then he reverted to the mean, and it's I think it just is what it is at this point. So, but yeah, so potentially you get Traquan back, and Mike may be a week or two out. So, I mean, I know they have the Bucks game, and then the Falcons after that, right? So maybe he returns for the Falcons. Maybe he returns to the Titans. Maybe those are the next two games out, because you got the Seahawks, the Bucks, and Seattle at New Orleans versus the Bucks, at New Orleans versus the Falcons, and I don't know why I was thinking the Tennessee game was in New Orleans, but that game is in Nashville. So that's an interesting game. They just took the Bills. They took their heart out the other night. So yeah, we're guessing one of those games Mike will be returning. So, like, what does Traquan bring to the offense? What gap can he fill?
I mean, it's all gap. It's all gap, man. Like,
what's wrong? Everything.
I mean, it's all anything he brings to the wide receiver group is a plus. I mean, really, it is. You
could say the same thing about me, Nick.
Nah, man, it's that bad at that position, though. I mean, like, seriously,
it's horrible. It's the worst.
Yeah, it's that bad at that position. And look, I mean, one of the things that I don't want to get into like the Jameis discussion again, but like one of the things that you see with how they're throwing on the field is that he doesn't throw to the middle of the field, and it's because nobody's getting open there. And you want to talk about decision making? He's making decisions not to target people in the middle of the field, because if you make a mistake there, or the receiver makes a mistake there, those are interceptions. That's where you throw picks.
Ask Mac Jones about it.
Yeah, you throw picks in the middle of the field. If you're throwing a crossing route to somebody and they get bullied by the DB and the DB jumps it, that's 6 points. Yep. And he's making decisions not to make throws there. So I think Traquan's someone that he can make throws to over the middle, and I think that's going to make his life a little bit easier. It's an outlet now that he didn't have before. And there's a lot, you keep saying it. There's a lot we don't know about Traquan and all that stuff. And I agree with that 100%, but he's more than what they have at any spot. He's more than what they have at any spot.
Yeah, he's better than everybody that they have at receiver and tight end right now.
Yes. So, I mean, that's huge. And you just get something at that position, and it's going to help. It's going to help the quarterback be better. And, like we said, like, I think it's impossible to make evaluations on Jameis Winston at this point, just because you don't know what he is. And this could be the player he is all year, but I don't think you can even begin to make that assessment until there's at least a few legitimate receiving options on the offense so that you can make those evaluations. And you got to have confidence in who you're throwing to. And I think it would be hard to have a lot of confidence in this group. Maybe certain guys in certain areas of the field you feel better about. Maybe you feel better about going downfield because it's, catcher and completion. But I think there's things that we can't find out about him until we see him with everybody around him. And look, this is a quarterback that liked to throw the ball over the middle before this season, and now he isn't. I think it's easy to see why. I think it's easy to understand why it's not happening.
Yeah, that was on film. Yeah. I listen. I've had my Traquan Smith takes, but at this point, he's like a vacation after a hard software cycle release, and that probably is not a good joke. That's not a good analogy for a lot of people, but like he's looking real good right now. He's the oasis.
He's a drop bottle. He's a drop bottle of Dasani in the desert. Like somebody left it behind, and you just stumbled up on it. Yeah,
bro. Oh, it's Traquan. Get him, and so
grab that. Yeah,
it's a trick. That's crazy. Like it's Omar or something. I'm telling you, man. I miss Traquan, and that is a really, really, really bad place to be. But listen, dirty tank top and all, I'm here for it. I'm ready. I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to be healthy. And like if I, and when I talk about like a player, like, and this, it's never personal, right? And I think our listeners know that, but just for the sake of saying it, but I want to be wrong about it, obviously, because when the Saints win, this podcast is a lot more fun, and the fans are a lot more fun to interact with. So, but yeah, he's definitely someone that they need. One guy that I am perplexed about this season, and I'm not really sure why he isn't good is, and I don't think he's not good, but like why he isn't average is Troutman. And like I was trying to look and see what is causing him to not be effective, and I just can't really put a finger on it. Like I can't put a finger on like what exactly is going on just from that position, right? That position. So I know, but I was thinking about some of the things, coming off the bye, like what is like an area that I can look at the team and say, okay, you guys need to be better here. And one of the ones that I thought about, I kind of been overlooking it all season, and I was like, man, the tight end position is like, what's going on there? So that's just something I kind of thought about. Like, that's a guy that it would be nice to try to get him some easy catches to maybe get him going or something like that. I don't know, right? Just give him one to take some plays or something like that. I feel like he can run them. But yeah, that's a player who I think like he has to get going if this offense is gonna. And now he doesn't have to be a Pro Bowler. He just has to be, in the offense in some way, shape, or form, because that position is important.
Yeah, it's been disappointing, honestly. And maybe it's just the transition is a little steeper than a lot of us expected coming from a low level of college.
Dayton college. Yeah, Dayton.
Coming from a low level of college football. I mean, I think maybe there's a little bit more of a transition. Maybe the learning curve for him is steeper than expected, and maybe it just takes him a little bit longer to come into his own if he gets there. But yeah, it's been slow, but also I think it's hard to evaluate him looking at the offense and where it's at. And, I think those missing pieces affect everybody, especially somebody like him. And maybe when there's other guys out there, things become a little bit easier for him as well. But yeah, it's been tough. I mean, I think everybody was looking at him like he was someone that was going to step up in a significant way.
There was so many Kittle comparisons.
Yeah, that was a little much. It was a little much.
Walk that back, bro.
Yeah.
Walk that back. I was like, man, and at some point I was like, man, I sure miss Jared Cook. And then I look at the game of the night and he got balls flying off his hand and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well, he'd be
Cook gonna cook.
no, he'd be cooking here. So
Yeah, he would be the best receiver on this team right now. To
yeah,
be
he
honest
would.
with you.
He would. He
Drops
would
it
help a
all.
lot. Yeah.
I was looking at Emmanuel Sanders the other day getting mad, bruh. I was like,
He would have
Sanders,
been great in this offense with Jameis. He would have been
bruh.
unleashed. Yeah, they would have got a lot out of him. And look, the other guy too that I think they're missing Trey Hendrickson a little bit. I don't want to say it, but I think they're missing Trey Hendrickson a little bit.
That was
he's
I know
got
you gotta
5.5
go, like,
sacks
wash
already.
Your mouth. You got to wash
He's
your
got
mouth
five-
after saying that.
He's got 5.5 sacks already, man. He might be a legitimately good pass rusher at this point.
Trading
Like
for
he might
Cam.
not be the fluke that everybody thought he was. I mean, he's producing, and good for him. They couldn't pay him, so he had to go anyhow. Like it's not. Even if there was like a miscalculation, like that wasn't a player you could afford to keep. They had to let him go. They drafted somebody else. That was just something that happened with the cap. But I don't think he was someone that the organization was looking at as a cap casualty. And oh no, he got away. And I understand it 100%. But I think he's better than literally everybody.
Pushing the passer right now on this team. Yeah, no question. That's not a slight at anyone. That's just what's happening.
He's been more productive. Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
100%. We got about 10 of the codes redeemed already. There's about 20 left. Go on there, hit the monthly plan, type in the word Firehouse, get a free month on the website.
There we go. That's good. Well, so we started off with 30, and how many is left?
I'm trying to keep it looks like there's been about 10 redeem. So NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Click on monthly plan. There'll be a green word that says.
Let me give some flowers to our listeners. Hit
the link,
man.
type in Firehouse, you get a free month.
Yeah, let me just give some flowers to our listeners because, 30 codes, only 10 redeemed, and there's 100+ people in here. That means y'all subscribe, man. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
So we
some
appreciate
people
y'all.
catching it tomorrow might have a couple left. I thought they'd be all gone before the thing went up, but that's cool.
Yeah, I thought they'd have been gone in the first 10 minutes of the pod.
Yeah, that's how it went on Twitter, man. The code was like gone, like
boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So shout out to the listeners. Let's see, Kyle Kid, I just saw you redeem. Hey man, hope you enjoy the content and you decide to join the family for good because we got space. We definitely got space. So yeah. But I think, and I didn't get I forgot to kind of say this when you were talking about it, but just again, like and man, I just feel like we keep going back to Jameis, but he's the quarterback, so kind of got to talk about him and. This wide receiver position and these tight ends and everything affects him, but. I keep saying that like it's hard I don't think you can really get a good evaluation of a quarterback if they don't have guys to throw the ball to. I just think that playing quarterback at any level, if you don't have guys who are getting open, it's going to make you look worse than I think it's going to make you look worse than what you really are. And I think you say, okay, make the right decision. If nobody's open, throw it away, take the sack. But human nature is going to stop you at you want to make a play, right? You're going to take a chance, right? You can't just throw the ball every time someone's not open or try to scramble or you're going to try to make a play. And that's what, it's going to cause you to make some risky throws or some turnovers or something along those lines. And, I just think it's something to think about when you're talking about Jameis. And I think Jameis has his flaws. I've been pretty vocal about that, and like all quarterbacks do. But I do think he deserves like a little bit of he deserves a little bit more rope when you're evaluating him because. And I always use the same example, and I'm not comparing.
That man has no rope. That man has no rope from anybody.
No slack.
He's just falling trying to catch tree branches the way people. It's insane, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Someone said he looks like old Jameis today. It's like, man, he's throwing 3 interceptions. How does he look like old Jameis?
Yeah, that was a hot
old
take,
Jameis threw 30 interceptions. He doesn't look like old Jameis. Like he's not perfect by any means. And this ain't a defense of him. I think the jury's still out. I think that it could still go either way. I don't know that he's convinced anybody anything, but I can't, like you just said, it's possible to know at what level the issues are when you ain't
got nobody to throw the ball
to.
Yeah, nobody to throw the ball to.
Is the hesitation because he's not confident, or is the hesitation? Well, there's
that guy's
he's
not
not confident, but is it because Is it because of himself? Is it because he's not seeing the field? Is it because he's second guessing himself? Or is he second guessing the person he's throwing the ball to? And sometimes the answer is probably yes to that. So I just think you got to get enough, like you said, you got to get enough good people around him. And that's when you can start to figure out a little bit more about who he is. But honestly, this injury situation and all the people being out, he's the biggest loser from it. I mean, because he's betting his whole I mean, the man's career's on the
His
line.
future on Marquez Callaway, Hogan, Jawan Johnson. It's man, it's bad. And look, and
I think Jawan's going to be good too, but he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be, guy
he's
two
not,
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on him. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and I mean, look what happened with Brady. And like I said, I'm not comparing him to Brady because Brady's the GOAT, obviously. But his last year in New England, people were like, I mean, when I saw his last year in New England, he came to Tampa. I was like, man, he better be better than that. And he was by far, because he looks 32 right now. Like, Drew, you could have just not came back that last year. Like, man, you changed a lot.
he'd be struggling right now too, though, with this team. Man, Drew would be struggling with this team right now. Like anybody would. I mean, they wouldn't be as good as they normally are. It's a tough situation.
Yep, it is for any quarterback. And you look at Tom's last year in New England, and you look at his last, once they got going last year and this year he is. Man, it's crazy, and I'm just like, that's what happens when you got people to throw the ball to, 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, Antonio Brown. I know he wasn't like in the best behavior when, he came to New Orleans or whatever was going on and it didn't work out for him. But boy, he would look good in black and gold right now, so it's a tough situation for any quarterback. And so, I definitely like take that into effect when I look at Jameis, and I think everyone else should too.
I kind of, and Raphael Rattler, we were talking about this earlier, and he kind of came up in that conversation. I kind of listen to the Rattler brothers on Pell's Spot too, by the way. But I kind of
TV.
I view it another way too with Jameis. I think that his ability has made this offense more palatable because you can throw the ball down the field to Deontay, and that's a play that they have, and they don't have a lot of other things they can do well.
That's
and if you didn't have that, if you didn't have that element of the offense, I think maybe the offense would be in even more trouble. So I just think he's adding to it. We'll see on the rest of the stuff. It's just hard to evaluate at this point, but it's just so weird to me that there's this like constant rush to judgment on him, and it feels like you have to have an extreme take one way or another, and you can't just sit here like me and you and kind of be like, we'll see. I mean, there's some good, there's some bad, and we'll see what it is in the middle. Like nobody reacts to this guy like that, and it's
the crazy part is, like, we was texting today, and I was like, well, I got people telling me like I'm way too hard on Jameis. Then I got people telling me I'm a Jameis apologist. So I was like, apparently I'm doing it the right way.
There you go.
That's the only thing I can judge because, I think we know a lot about Jameis, that we maybe didn't know before. And I think, you can kind of tell what type of quarterback he is. But I also think that, there's still like a margin of error, and it can be positive or negative. And like I said, it's just because the evaluation is still going on. So we'll definitely see what happens there. The Saints signed Lamar Miller, former Pro Bowl running back, and Forrest Lamp. I think he was drafted like, I forget if it was 2 or 3
second
years
round,
ago.
I think it was the second round.
I thought it was first round. I'll look it up.
Round.
Yeah, he high pedigree regardless, right? So what do you think kind of is the thought process behind like bringing in a guard, right? The running back makes sense and I'm pretty sure Lamar Miller may be active Sunday if Tony Jones can't go, because you obviously want another running back.
Yeah, Tony Jones is on IR, so he ain't going.
He ain't going at all. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
They need more depth at that position. Lamp was a second round pick 38, high second.
Okay, high second.
So yeah, I mean, it's just, you kind of see what that guy has. You got good coaching on the offensive line. Maybe you get something out of him that other people haven't been able to get out of him, and see what that talent is and see if you can coach it up. I think it's a smart decision for them. And you got some injuries on the offensive line too. So
yeah,
it helps with that. I think it's just kind of that churning that they always do and kind of see what you have, see if you can, if you find one and how it works out. Lamar Miller, we'll see. I don't know. It's tough. It's funny to kind of look at Baltimore and see two guys that the Saints
All the
cut
Saints.
contributing, and now all of a sudden you need a running back, and you're looking at the bottom of the barrel. There's really nothing you can do in that situation. You got your numbers, and you get an injury, but it just is kind of a funny situation there. So we'll see what those guys have left. It's
or if they got anything, but
yeah.
They'll just a couple of little transactional things, and just I think I saw someone bringing up McCoy and Armstead didn't go on IR, so I know I saw some dialogue about that, so that's just a heads up. So I got a theory on this whole Lamp thing, right? I think you remember how the Chiefs wanted Andrews Pete, right?
You think they're trading?
So they're going to trade Pete to the Chiefs. They're going to start Lamp, and then they're going to trade Pete for like Kelsey or Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, man. Let a brother hope, man. Listen, man. What Kobe said, you never make a shot you don't shoot. I mean, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So shoot your shot. So, okay. So, guys, NewOrleans.Football, NewOrleans.Football, /subscribe if you're not a member. Go on the site right now. Nick got some heat up on there. Probably my favorite article up there now, like recent, is the Demario Davis article about him just being like a freaking linebacker version of Ed Reed as it pertains to like watching film and how he sees the game and etc. There's something about my favorite one was the Traquan one with Mike and Traquan, how they changed the offense, how you did the overlays. Guys, if you guys are new subscribers, go read that one first. That's a good one. But
Eddie on the graphics.
Oh, that was Eddie? Hey, broken clock twice a day, bro.
Come on, man.
Eddie, my guy, man. Let me leave Eddie alone because I do not want no problems with him. But the one I want to speak about, and this is a third article on the site, as you guys can see that everything that you need is in one place, which that's good and convenient. Is one where you talk about what they can do to maybe add some talent to the team, and I'm not going to go into how they're going to do it because that's why people are subscribed, but just do you maybe see them maybe making a move for someone, or do you just think that this is the team that they got to run with? Like, what do you think? Period. Just what do you think? There you go.
Yeah, like you said, it's broken down on the site how they could make it happen, all that. Check that out. There's a code on the screen, so you can go sign up and check it out if you don't have it. Code Firehouse. So we don't got to break it down. They can go read it. We ain't holding anybody back here. This one's on you. This one's on you if you don't sign up. But yeah, I think they should.
Free code right there, bro.
I think they should make a trade. And
for defensive tackle or wide receiver.
We talk about the positions in the article, so go check it out.
There you go. All right, yeah. That's all I got, man. That's it, guys. The Saints, they play Monday night at 7:15 p.m. Seattle Seahawks. First practice report comes out Thursday. Again, since they're coming off the bye, and this they play on Monday night, the schedule shift of day forward. So Wednesday don't be looking for the practice reports, but I'll just say I'll be looking to see who practices. Right, I want to see a limited Davenport, a limited Will Lutz, please. Like, when was the last time they made a field goal? No idea. Like, I only remember them making a field goal. So Traquan is obviously someone who I expect to play, who's going to come and save the entire offense, and then we'll see what happens with Quan. Got Pete. Feel good. Feel good about Pete. Pete's good. Me and Pete, I called him. We reconciled that whole situation. He told me he liked my takes. I should have trusted you, but me and Pete, we on good talking terms. So yeah, guys, just keep it tuned to NewOrleans.Football. We will have the Friday pod that we always have every week. Even the Saints didn't play Friday, and we still was recording. It was a good conversation too. I totally forgot what it was about, but I just remember enjoying it. So to the new subscribers, guys, we have 3 podcasts a week. We have this one, which is the open to the public pod. We produce an additional 2 pods that is for members and subscribers of NewOrleans.Football only. One that is a post-game hot take pod, which is always fun. And it's too long. We got to figure out how to shorten these pods. But every time I say that, you guys threaten me. And then we have the Friday pod, and then this one. So that's 3 pods, articles every week. And the last thing I'll mention is a little something special coming this Friday. little something special coming this Friday. If you guys are longtime supporters of what we do around here, might be a little something you may be tiny bit familiar with. And that's all I'll say before, because Nick looking at me like, shut up. So, yeah, stay tuned. NewOrleans.Football. Thank you guys for supporting. Thanks to shout out to our sponsors, Fire Stub and Daniel Kent. Thanks for everybody supporting us. The guys who signed up. Hope you guys stick with us. With that said, thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week. We out.